guys. I hope you guys are doing all right. Today's topic is why it takes a team. I could go on about this one forever too, but I guess that applies to sort of every video I do. First, I'm going to tell you, this is my caveat to the whole thing. In school, teachers would say, let's do a group project. And I was the first one to be like, oh God, no, please no. I ended up being that person that ended up doing the whole project and being the first one done and just frustrated with the other people on the team. And yeah, I wasn't a fan of group projects. I'd rather do the thing myself. I kind of was of the belief if you want it done right, do it yourself. And yeah, I wasn't a fan. I didn't see the value in teams. As a kid, I played on teams. I was super into field hockey, an athlete, all of that. In that way, yeah, I saw the value, right? Someone's going to kick the ball and you got to get it. You need someone to pass the ball for you to take a shot on goal. Those kind of teams made sense. But when it came to actual work in school or group projects, they just never made sense to me. Inevitably, you'd have someone who didn't carry their weight. You'd have another guy that was slowing you down. You'd have like infighting about who's going to do what, how are we going to get this done. It just wasn't a model that worked for me. I avoided group projects as much as I could. When I did get shoved into a group project, I was so selective about who am I working with if I had an option. And if I didn't have an option, I was like, don't worry, I've got this. I'll do the whole thing. You go do whatever. So I was that jerk. Now, though, my life has changed a lot since then. Between my training in group therapy and group dynamics and learning about teams and why they're important from a therapeutic angle, as well as business experiences, whether it's in a journalism newsroom or whether it's case management meetings where you're looking for your colleagues' ideas and perspectives about how to help a client, I have slowly but surely come to learn that teams matter and that teams are important and that you need a team, no matter what it is. But it is not, there's no place in my careers, and I've had a million, right, that I would say it is more imperative that you work with a team and have a team than it is in book world, at least in indie, for indie. I can tell you that with my first 2 or so years of publishing, I had no team behind me. I didn't know anyone. I'm just some person putting up, look, Mom, I wrote a book, and kind of my friends and family. And while I had a great debut because everybody in my whole high school, the poor people who I probably kicked off my teams, came out and supported me and bought that book. And Erin's an author. Oh my God, this is a big deal. Kind of support. And that was great. And I just assumed, well, that's how it always is. You release a book and everyone and their brother that you've ever known is going to buy it and support it and take pictures of it and, promote it and tell their friends about it. That's not how it is. When you get, and I've talked many times, if you go to my indie authors playlist on this channel, many times about how after that first debut, that word of mouth and excitement slowly but surely go goodbye. And people just stop reading, whether it's family or friends or even your first initial readers may not have liked your work, or they're just, they're off and on to another author, whatever. When you don't have a team behind you, it's amazing how quickly your interest in other people's interest in your books and work will plummet. It's just the way it is. And when I saw that start happening, I was like, I'm going to have to do something different. I was buying ads. I was doing all the things just down the line, what you're supposed to do when you release a book. And with each book, I got fewer and fewer sales. And for a little while, it was like, well, maybe it's me. Maybe my writing's not good. Maybe they're not interested in the kind of things I'm writing. I started experimenting with genre. No dice. None of that seemed to make a difference. What made all the difference in the world for me was on year 3, I said, maybe I need a team. Authors around me were getting things called street teams. And I was like, what the heck is that? Why do I want more work? Why do I want another thing on my to-do plate? But it seemed to be working. So the way I started was I joined one of these street teams. I became a beta reader for an author that I thought was fantastically talented and watched how she did things. And I saw the value in a team for her. I saw the value in the way she used betas, although it's not something that works for me. I saw how it worked for her. I saw the value in the way she ran review groups. Again, it doesn't work for me the way it works for her, but I did understand the value in that team. But more importantly, I saw the way she ran her actual reader group. And everything about that I was on board with. And I was like, yeah, I want to do that. I want to duplicate it, not copy it. I am so anti-copy. It makes my head spin. But emulate it. Like, I want to take these elements and make it my own. And that's what I did with Crazy Inklings. That's what I've done with several groups. I do have groups that people in my general circles may not, well, I know for a fact that they're not involved with or aware of, and that's very intentional. I have spaces in Book World that I keep that are not in my normal circles because I'm always looking to expand my normal circles. And as people get interested in my work in other places, I'll bring them in and incorporate them into that regular circle. Anyways, regardless. So I decided I need a street team, and that's what I did. I built up a reader group. It was terrifying at first. I do have a playlist on how to, a playlist video on how to launch a reader group. And if you don't have one of these, I suggest you watch that. But that started to make all the difference. I got to know my readers, and they became part of a team. When I had a book that I needed, I needed promotion and I needed people to share and put in other authors groups, that sort of thing, they were right there for me, ready to do it. I called them my tribe. I still am very close to several people that were in that original street team group. And that's just for me as an author. On the Crazy Ink end of things, when it was time, when I said, I didn't really say, it kind of got thrown into, oh, Erin's going to be our publisher now. Just because I was sort of like a leader at another publishing company that I was publishing with. And when they closed, everyone was like, Erin, save us. So because I'm me and I am a saver of people, or I try to be, I was like, that's fine, I'll do it. I can do this. I know how to do this. I'll do it. I'll do what I do for my books, for your books, and that's how Crazy Ink was born. With that, I learned more so than ever the importance of a team. Yes, I had a great team going for me personally, and my books were getting out there and I was doing really well, the best I had ever done in Book World, and I certainly saw that value in a team. Even with the weaker players, as you would, I guess, say, there was so much value in them. Just even when they're sharing your release just on release day and that's all they're doing, it made all the difference in the world because release days would come and your book is all over the place and it doesn't even cost anything. Obviously, you've got to put money into ads, you've got to put money into edits and covers and marketing in general, blog tours, all of that. But when you can get readers who have generally read your books, generally enjoy your work, I know this is, mommy won't shut up, generally just interested in what you're doing and truly support you, that's priceless. Because word of mouth and people talking about, oh my gosh, you gotta check out Erin Lee, she's an amazing writer, that's gotten me some of my best readers that are automatic one-click buyers. So because I had that team, and because I worked hard and long, it probably took me 18 months to get those teams where I wanted them. It made all the difference for me personally. So when it was time to start Crazy Ink, I said, well, I've already got these teams built. I've got these resources. And I went to my core groups. I still have, again, some core groups that, like authors from Crazy Ink are not in, with just my core tribe of original readers and Erin Lee fans. I hate that word because it feels weird. But regardless, and I said, guys, look, I'm going to need help. I've got a publishing company that just basically tossed all of their books at me. I've got to get this thing made into an LLC in yesterday. I've got to figure out how to do this. And I'm going to need your help. I'm going to need that team. And if it weren't for that team, which for the first, I'd say 6 months, that absolutely carried me before I could afford to pay for marketing, before I could afford to pay for different pimp things or, some of the ways that I pay people are pretty creative. I actually have authors who do things for Crazy Ink that people wouldn't realize I don't take their royalties because they do things for Crazy Ink. I've been very creative in how I arranged the company, especially now that we're having trouble because, we're in a pandemic and books aren't selling the way they were. But I was able to identify quickly, and it's a skill, but it's also just, I have a lot of experience with teams now. These are the people that are going to stick around. These are the people that are here for the right reasons, and those are the people you want on your team. You don't want the guy that everybody else is hiring to promote you because they're not going to talk with the same enthusiasm about your book. It's very similar to the way that I talked about in my PA video, that the best way to find a PA is to find someone who authentically just loves what you do. You can teach the skills that a good PA needs. PA is personal assistant. But you can't buy enthusiasm. And that's what I look for in teams. I look for authors that are enthusiastic about publishing and about books. When I go to accept or decline a submission, I will check out an author and say, is this person enthusiastic or is this a hobby for them? And that's a lesson I learned the hard way. You know, when you initially open and you just, oh, I want to publish everyone. This is great. We're all going to, kumbaya. That's great until budget comes into play, until expenses come into play, and until team dynamics start to crumble. Crazy Ink has not been perfect. There's been all along, you have people that look like they're all in it for the team, and then the minute you ask someone to do something for the team, for the betterment of the bigger picture, what do you know? They're upset. And that's not a team player, and that's not something you can work with. My most successful authors are people that understand this team dynamic, that will take time out of their day to support their peers and other authors, because those are the same authors that get that support in return. On release day, it only makes sense. It's reciprocity. You know, if you're going to be out there supporting other authors, they're going to support you when it's your turn. And that's what I've built Crazy Ink around, and so far, so good. Yes, we've had problems along the way. Yes, people that I thought were team players turned into not even close. But, you nothing's perfect. No place is perfect. And we have really done our best to keep that core team dynamic. It's why I developed an exclusive program at Crazy Ink, because those are the authors that I know are sort of in it for the long run, and I knew would be able to bond and form friendships that would help them establish the base of their own teams. Because it's okay to have other authors on your team. Again, I was a huge supporter of this particular author, and a big part of what made her teams work so well. And while she was a bigger author than me, so to speak, that alliance helped us both. So I guess my whole point with this is they're on my team too. They're hungry. My point with this is you can't get real far if you don't throw it out of your head, that whole, I don't want a team, or what if I have to do all the work, or no one else is going to do it like me. There are times when I delegate a lot. I try not to micromanage. There are times when someone who's on the team will do something that I'm like, I don't like that. But I don't say anything. I don't give a hard time for the little things. I learned to pick and choose my battles. Me not liking a graphic or not believing something was handled the way I might have handled it is not, it's called content versus process in therapy land. And I've had authors give me shit for this. Why would you let your such and such person say such and such? It's not a let thing to me. It's about empowering people. When you have team members that are given power, so to speak, but given the authority to be able to make decisions for you and on your behalf under a bigger umbrella of understanding your mission and purpose, you're empowering a team member or a team, but specifically that person who has shown you that they can be trusted, who has earned that respect, that I believe in you too. So that works both ways. And while there are moments when you're like, yikes, I wish that hadn't happened. I hadn't shown up to see that my such and such person has done this. Those are just the content. They're not the process. Process is the big thing you look at with teams, okay? So when you want a team to run well and effectively, you want to look at the big picture, not those nitty-gritty day-to-day little scruffles. We get them all the time. This one's not sharing my stuff. This one's being mean to me. This one's not pulling their weight. All those things I worried about in high school. The big picture says, look, some days this author's going to be here with support and then they're going to be here. You don't know. You're dealing with social media. You have no idea. Did they just get in a fight with their spouse? Is this one, got a sick kid? You don't know what's going on with them. So you've got to, when you're part of a team, learn. And I learned this again the hard way because I used to let these little things get to me. You've got to say, okay, back up. Big picture, is the team itself still working? If it is, guess what? You're okay. Tomorrow's a new day. Let's all get some sleep. We start over tomorrow. A strong team can start over tomorrow. You don't have to worry until your team stops showing up. Now, with that said, I'm in that place. My team has stopped showing up, but it's because of a pandemic. It's not because the team doesn't want to play the game anymore. It's because the team is in this whacked out situation that we're all in. And frankly, I'm not showing up as much either. We are all screwed up right now, and that's okay. Because that's content. That's a thing, a little tiny thing that's affecting the big picture. But the big picture still exists. So as long as it does, we're good. And those are the things I look at when I'm trying to determine whether or not the team's okay. The team's not in the greatest shape right now, but the team still exists. And when all the dust settles from this pandemic, the team will still be there. One neat thing about content, I'm going to use the pandemic because I'm on that, the little things in a team setting, is you will see people rise to the occasion that were basically the non-players. I have watched people that just didn't say much, do much, shine. While my best, bravest, loudest authors are just playing dead, including me. Great to know for when that team picture comes back. Wow, I've got gems in these guys too. There's even more than what I thought. Anyway, I'm on a tangent because really the point of this video is if you want to sell books, you need a team. You guys, most of you are not publishers. Most of you are authors. So reeling it back, you can take everything I just said about Crazy Ink and apply it to your street teams, your fan groups, anybody who's running your author page, your PA. You need those people in order to get that word of mouth out there, but you need it now more than ever because right now it's harder to sell books. So I can do a video, and I'm happy to do it, on how to actually build that team from the ground up if that's something you're interested in. You know, certainly never be afraid to tell me, Erin, we want a video on this, because eventually even Erin will run out of ideas for videos. I do have like 13 pages on ideas, so that's good. It won't be anytime soon. I might even be allowed to like leave the building before that happens. It'll be amazing. So yeah, that's my thoughts on teams. They're important. You cannot succeed without them. And if you think you do, you're crazy, and not in a good way. All right, guys, I will talk to you next time. I hope you're doing well. I hope the words are coming to you. I hope you found your groove. Yeah, keep it up. Believe in the big picture, because the big picture is what'll get us all back to wherever the heck we were before this whole corona thing. Till next time, peace, love, books, and crazy.